Yes, sir. I want to go to Son of Evan, then we'll come here.
Oh, just kind of a quick one. One that worries a lot of people that I work with is the amnesty. And the reason I say that is we have real good friends that are from other countries that work with us that have been through the process the proper way. And the process is just so bad that they've been turned back several times. And we know one in general that's had $20,000 or something out of his own pocket. And this is a guy with a master's degree, a Christian man that we would love to have here. And to see them say that we're going to give this blanket amnesty to people that are illegal, I hear that everywhere I go.
Medicine matters, we are.
Well, I don't think a blanket amnesty is going to take place. People have spoken. Jan Brewer stood up. In other states, I don't think it's going to happen. However, there is legitimate reform in immigration that needs to take place. And the first part of reform has to be, let's enforce the present laws we have. Secondly, along with that, let's secure our borders. Reagan understood that, and I think he made one of the only a few mistakes I think that Reagan made. Forgive me for even standing in the shadow of Reagan's history. I mean, what a wonderful guy. But he did give an amnesty. But I think he legitimately thought 5 million people, it'll be done with, over with, it'll never happen again. It has happened. And it's gone way beyond that. But he said, this nation needs to be a nation with borders. It cannot be a region, because a region has no borders. He says, but let's secure our borders and then make the gates that swing open for people who yearn to be free. Let's make them swing wide and free, but only for people who will come in, who will abide by our laws, and who will speak our language. And I would add, who will sign our guest book, who will document themselves. We can do that. There are mechanisms that can be done that are legitimate, that will give contractors, farmers, employers who need some of these laborers, who literally cannot get it from other places, who will give an assurance at least they're hiring a legal, documented alien, and that that person will be known to be here for a certain period of time and the time when they go back as well. But it'll also say to the rest of the world, we believe in liberty, but we believe in law as well. Yes, sir.
Earlier you mentioned about China needs our goods over there in China, and yet you talked about skilled labor, and the skilled labor in this country is using their machines, their tools are made in China, but we have the skills, they have the work. So are you saying that you still agree that NAFTA and Canada is still good for this country, for our economy?
It's been proven. It's been proven that it's supplied more jobs of equal or better pay to our country over the course of time. However, and I know the filming is going on and they're going to just take that clip. However, that's said in a vacuum that says we will have also made sure that our country isn't hamstrung by unnecessary regulations and taxes that makes it difficult for us to compete. I don't accept that. I make a statement that we have hamstrung ourselves, and we have put ourselves in a worse situation than if we just had CAFTA and NAFTA and any other trade agreement we might sign. If we just had those, and we had worked on making sure that there was not restriction for milling tool or industries, that we hadn't made restrictions of high taxes and unnecessary regulations for companies here like Orbitform and others that produce machinery, China couldn't compete with us. And you know why I say that? It's because we're seeing it with the simplest products that they send over. I'm trying to think of the one that I saw, that the name of it, it was basically a valve, but there was a more technical name to it. When they look for the frequency of failure, the frequency of failure for the Chinese-produced valve, which was significantly reduced in cost from what this company could buy those valves and put in their product from an American supplier. They ultimately decided after trying it that they would scrap it and go back to the American supplier because the frequency of failure was so high. Plus the cost of shipping that and the time waiting for it to come across the big pond on a cargo ship also added to the cost, and ultimately we went back to American products. Now just think if we had also said, not only is this product, this valve, better quality, and almost virtual 100% quality, non-failure. If we would have also said, because we reduced the taxes that were unnecessary, and we reduced the unnecessary regulations on that company supplying the valve, there would have been no question. They would have never left buying that valve. They would have never even tried to buy it from China. But in order to keep the business, in order to keep people employed, they had to reduce the cost, and they decided, let's do it by buying Chinese products.
We don't see massive employment, we see decline in employment more with the napkin captive than we did before, because we have businesses that are moving, that have moved out, are not coming back to give the jobs for the same product they were producing before they left.
And there are some that are coming back.
They are coming.
They're coming back. But if you have statistics, I'd like to see those. Because frankly, that is not the case.
After you get laid up 100 times, you start to understand something isn't normal here. You know?
Well, it isn't.
Their employees are being murdered.
Yeah. And bottom line is, though the jobs have expanded, they're in different areas. That's absolutely true. But what I'm saying is, if we would do our work in reducing energy costs, which we haven't done, and in Michigan, it's what we see in manufacturing and the decline in manufacturing in Michigan isn't the same in the rest of the nation. We've got manufacturing that have moved to South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, that are doing just fine, thank you. You know, why does Toyota move to Indiana and South Carolina and Alabama and not come to Michigan? They're manufacturing and they're doing just fine.
The taxes?
They're doing just fine because they don't have the additional taxes and regulations that Michigan puts on our own manufacturing. It's nuts. And I'm sure hoping that Michigan doesn't screw up and put another Democrat like Verge Monero. I mean, Verge, I've known him since he was a college senior at Adrian College. I debated him when I was in the legislature, and he was a college student body president. This guy is a socialist after the first quarter.
Yeah.
And he does not have an idea on how to create lasting jobs in Michigan. So I hope we do it right. Otherwise, hey, turn off the lights. Turn off the lights.